fucking like it up my fucking ass.
La jeune femme qui se fait sodomiser sous vos yeux est sans doute l'artiste américaine la plus inclassable et la plus controversée. La plus détestée, respectée, fascinante, dérangeante, déjantée, transgressive et la plus insupportable parce que la plus incontrôlable. Mais c'est surtout 30 ans de scène, des dizaines d'albums, des films, de la photographie et de la poésie. Née à Rochester en 59, elle s'arrache de l'enfer familial à 16 ans et débarque à New York. Ensuite, tout s'enchaîne. Elle devient l'égérie du mouvement No Wave et de la scène underground de l'époque. Mythe vivant, véritable icône rock, Lydia Lunch a travaillé avec les plus grands. De James White à Nick Cave, des Sonic Youth à Henry Rollins, de Richard Kern à Argento, en passant par Hubert Selby Jr. Dernière chose, Lydia Lunch se contrefout du passé, du bon vieux temps du CBGB et de toute cette nostalgie des années 80. Alors voilà Lydia Lunch, au présent du vindicatif.
I've defined myself as a confrontationalist, which is an invented word like many of my words. The Lydian dictionary, it doesn't exist. It's just to confront. Well, writing is the most important part of what I do. The words are the most important part. Everything comes from a thought, a sentence.
Same as it ever was. 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 History draws its substance from the archives of blood. We're all just grave diggers. We're all just grave diggers. We're all just grave diggers to the future. Each generation raises monuments to the executioners which have preceded it. Society is not a disease. Society is not a disease. Society is not a disease, it's a fucking disaster. History has been reduced to thousands and thousands of snapshots rifled through the air like a broken film strip ripped through an ancient projector. And I don't know about you. I don't know about you. I don't know about you, but my mind works in multiples. It's always tripping over images which beg for recognition from the place that time smolders. Of all the great disasters.
So when I show images of Belchite, which is a beautiful ruin left as man's, it's a testament to man's brutality against humankind, this Spanish War leveled monument. 70-year standing in the middle of Spain, to use this ruin. Well, the photography for Ecstasy at the Mouth of the Abyss originally started as part of the video projections for real pornography. Oops! What's going on there? Lifty. So digital photography suddenly gave me the surge of spontaneity, which was very refreshing. To show the beauty in the destruction, and which is the point, is I have to find beauty at this point in history. I find the beauty and it's almost orgasmic. When I put my erotica or pornography or ecstasy in a ruined building, it's almost like turning inward and outward at the same time. I mean, that's the only way I can describe it. I mean, when I photograph a rusty cornice of a building and show myself in a prayer-like ecstasy, it's because, first of all, rust is one of the most erotic elements, and it's very dangerous. I mean, I'm obsessed with rusty items, and it's the way that someone might be obsessed with silicone dildos. I'm obsessed with rusty implements. I think just the importance of the juxtaposition between something that's dead and rotted, but to me so beautiful, and sex as a need to fight death, to avoid it, yet to embrace it, to lose consciousness. I mean, that's what we strive for in orgasm, is to just have 3 seconds of an explosion, of an explosive nowhere.
Doesn't that put an end to dread? It's as if...
You like?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ouais, on les redécouvre. Ça, je sais pas comment dire redécouvre.
What?
Beautiful, I prefer to see. That, qu'elles sont beaucoup mieux sur le, sur le CD.
On the computer, on the CD. Yes.
Ouais.
Ah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you. Well, I really don't give a fuck how I appear to anyone else. So I think the only way to get a full portrait of myself is by doing something this complete. Photography, illustrated word, video, installation, and then me on top of it. Date, number?
Wait.
Which?
Each photo?
1 of 3.
Yes, 1 of 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 1 of 3 and then the date, or no?
I think 1 of 3.
The date, we're going to put the date.
Oh, when you stamp, okay.
Non, vu caca, ça tient pas bien du tout. Je la pose. Est-ce que va bien?
Now, the question becomes,
Yeah.
are they disappearing on the black?
Yeah.
Would they look better on white paper?
It's the light, maybe because...
It's the light, okay.
Here.
Yeah, okay.
Ok.
Oh, from that, okay. Oh, good. Then we start cutting all the fine lines.
C'est pas tant pour le côté sexe, drogue, c'est aussi sur son histoire personnelle et le fait qu'elle ait retourné la situation, qu'elle s'en soit servie et qu'elle donne beaucoup en fait. Elle donne un élan.
Ultimately, the point is I have to keep my sanity, find some kind of ecstasy at the mouth of the abyss.
L'année dernière, quand j'ai rencontré, on a fait un échange de... J'ai donné une petite sculpture et elle m'a dit bah, tu choisiras sur le CD qu'elle m'a donné 3 photos. Et donc j'ai choisi 3 photos à l'époque. Et de les voir sur CD, ça donne rien à voir, enfin ça n'a rien à voir avec ce que je vois là. Et maintenant, si j'avais le choix, j'aurais pas du tout choisi les 3 que j'ai choisis. Et
lesquels, par exemple?
Bah, moi, il y en a une que j'aime particulièrement, c'est La Grande. Voilà, c'est une de mes préférées.
Qu'est-ce que tu évoques?
Bah, déjà, c'est voilà, c'est aussi des visions que j'avais de ce film de H.R. Kern, où on la voit comme ça, nue, à se faire prendre.
Just me and my daydreams. Me and my nightmares.
Ouais, ça m'évoque aussi tout ce que j'avais connu à l'époque. Enfin, il y en a d'autres où il y a des fellations, comme ça, parce que non, je sais pas si vous avez vu ces films, où elle est comme ça, elle suce un mec, et l'image, elle est bien hardcore. Et voilà, tout ça, c'est cette époque que je retrouve.
And to get uglier and more disgusting no matter what their potential.
In the beginning, before they had invented God, there was simply woman. Some say the devil is a woman. If there's a devil, if there's a devil, if there's a devil, I pray she's a woman. Women invented poetry, language, song, dance, agriculture, pharmacology, language. The night has always belonged to women. They've always feared us, feared our power, feared our magic, our sex, voodoo. Do you remember our sacred origin when we as women lived in covens? We'd have a wild bacchanalia. We danced naked under the moonlight. We'd have orgies, wild blood rituals. In the beginning, there was simply woman. Some say the devil is a woman.
Let's see what colors we have for in here. We have purples, we have this. I like the pink. Let's put the pink underneath. Oh, this is beautiful, huh? It was horrible the night before I was leaving for this because I couldn't sleep at all, which, look, okay, I have insomnia, we know this, but no sleep. At least it's 1 or 2 hours is fine, but no sleep at all. And it was as if, because I had so many details to remember, of course, and I refused to take notes.
Was stressful.
Well, no, worse was this room. Because this is old ghosts. Emergency bag, what's in there? Oh, it's empty. Good, yeah, because there's no fucking emergency at the moment. This was one of his favorite appliances, the Gillette thin blades. And, of course, for me, it goes back to my childhood, too, which is why I have my father and myself, the baby that I still am, somewhere.
I started off trying to write the story of my life, but it was so full of shit that I thought I'd wait until tomorrow, or the next day, or never. Just to save the bullshitting till the twilight of my years. Because I'm a kind of shitter, get off the pot kind of gal, you know what I mean? And besides, that's what it's all about. Shit. And my life. And the perpetual search for more. More or less.
Yeah, my father, it goes back to Lenny. You see, Lenny Lunch. Was on his honeymoon. Pretty hot, huh? Bastard. Don't need that. Maybe over the sewer pipe is the best place for that fucker. Put him where he belongs, in the fucking sewer. The drainage pipe. Pathetic lecher. But okay, where
Well,
on the other side there. I mean, this room represents, to me, you know, the part of the problem. I mean, this is the haunting. This room, what I intend to do, and when it's finished, and I think it will, or it has in the past, it's therapy for myself and other people that have been traumatized. So, and again, it all goes back to the disability of childhood, and especially American children, because there's so much incest and poverty and disappointment and frustration. If two parents are working, living in poverty, raising 2 or more children, and alcohol being the convenient nightly and weekend antidote, which cures nothing and only makes everything else worse. I mean, I guess in a sense, this, as you see my father on his honeymoon with the Seagram 7, I mean, it's on one of these children's, on one of the pictures of from my childhood will be written, "Don't blame me for the sins of your father." And that, I guess, is part of what this room is about, as an homage to someone who suffered, for 2 people, myself and the other person who this room involves, who suffered as children under the tyranny of poverty and alcohol. My parents are dead and they still fucking haunt me. But my father understood me, because my father once told me, "You're just a comedian, aren't you?" And I said, "You got it."
You could say I had an attitude. Thank you, Daddy, I got it from you. Because you too felt like the world owed you a living. They could all go kiss your ass. Line up every one of those dark-skinned foreign motherfuckers and send them right back to where they came from.
I mean, I'm very much like my father. My father was a con man that, you know, had 20 different jobs in his lifetime, that played, that gambled, that drank to excess, that chased women, that couldn't control himself, that people either loved or loathed. I mean, the better parts of my personality, I eventually realized I had inherited from my father. And I guess as a puppet master, I guess part of my insanity is that it's very irresistible to use men, to manipulate them to be the puppets of a form of insanity that I wouldn't exhibit. It's not only the mother that knows what happens in a family. The cousins know, the aunts know, the uncles know. Everyone knows what's going on. Nobody does anything.
Might go goddamn stupid enough to marry a Bible salesman that don't know his ass from first base, Lenny. That's how goddamn dumb.
You know, I was born in 1959. In the 60s, no one's talking about this stuff yet. In the 80s, everyone was talking about it. So part of it's a generational thing. So we have 6 bunny masks. And maybe one has to be here too. In every room.
You say 6?
Yeah.
You say 3?
Yeah.
Every...
Perfect. And maybe we have one where the ghost girl from the invitation. We see. The bunny, there's nothing more sweet and adorable than a bunny, but for somehow then they turn into these haunted little ghosts here. So I mean the juxtaposition of terror and trauma and innocence. And I mean, I remember the moment of clarity very, very, very clearly when it hit me that things were wrong. And my innocence died at that moment. It died at the age of 6. I mean, I was no longer innocent. And I mean, the goal has always been to get back some innocence. So that's why the bunnies have a place in the show, in the room of the death of innocence. Children. Because all the men I know are children. I have enough trouble existing within this fucking shell, this contaminated, cantankerous hotel of so many monsters without having another little need machine living inside me. I would be too overprotective of a child. I would be horrible. And I would love them too much. And so I'd rather have a cat. Because the cat just ignores you if you love it too much. It's like, leave me alone. You know, the last thing I would want is a child to say, leave me alone, because that's what I was saying as a child. Leave me alone. Welcome to my salon, the theater of blood and guts. What you're about to hear is, of course, all true. So just try to get comfortable. Pretend I'm right there in your living room, and be glad, be very glad that this story is not about you.
Good evening, I'm Lydia Lunch, and welcome to Video History. This is a documentary of my schizophrenic musical career. Starting in 1977 with Teenage Jesus, going through Eight-Eyed Spy, Shotgun Wedding with Roland S. Howard, duets with Roland S. Howard, Die Haupt, Terry Edwards, Joseph Butenhauser, basically just a taster of the past 30 years of my musical schizophrenia. And most of the material obviously filmed at the time might be a bit grainy and of course harsh on your fucking ears, oh well. Let's not forget the nice time code across my eyes for some of Teenage Jesus. But it's just a small retrospective because I know none of you, some of you weren't even fucking born then, so here you go. Video history. Can you do it? Thank you.
start with. It's very complete
And where
to start
are you from?
with.
Because I don't know you at all, and I love rock music.
Yes, well, I live now in Barcelona, but I'm from New York, and where I started, it was started in New York.
And when did you start?
In 77.
77.
At 17, yeah.
I'm from 76, so
Oh, so you were 1 year old, and I was screaming like a baby. So when you were a baby, I was screaming like you.
Yeah, maybe not a lot of people. I thought you should have known, like the Rolling Stones.
No, not that level.
What did that girl throw up on stage at you?
Oh, I'll show you. Why did she throw up, or what did she throw up? It's, pubes? Everybody needs a little bit of,
old rags. Yowza, old rags.
Why are you here tonight?
To see the Dead Boys.
Why?
Because they're great fucks.
How do you know?
Because I fucked them. Who do you want the rundown on?
Did you throw the,
Yeah, I did. That was my present. I'm Lunch. They do a song called I Need Lunch. I'm Lydia Lunch.
Why did you throw that? What was it? What was it?
They were used tampons, genuinely used, new ones. Why did I give them to them? Because they're going to eat them the second set.
Are you sure of that?
You'll see. Yeah, because they're their favorite toys.
First time was at CBGB's, and I think it was around the beginning of 1977, or maybe late 76, and she was standing by the bar and she was like dancing to the band. And see, CBGB's didn't have a dance floor. Nobody ever danced there, which was one of the things, which was one of the only things I didn't like about it. And so I was really impressed that she was just like dancing like that by herself. So I think I just didn't want, walked up to her and started talking to her. And I think she pulled out of her purse this thing she had written and showed it to me, and it was like a long prose poem thing, and I was really impressed with it. I thought she was really talented, especially considering she was very young. I think she was only about 16, and I think she had just come to New York from Rochester only not very long before.
But at the time, it seemed if I used music, even if the music was an atrocious din, as was the method in which I reported my lyrics, an atrocious, horrible tantrum, because at 17 I was very angry, and it was a primal scream. The words were always the most important, but the writing always came first.
One night she rang my doorbell, and she didn't have a place to stay, so I let her stay with me, and she stayed with me for a couple of months. And she had this old beat-up guitar, and she started playing me these songs she had written, which were like some of the Teenage Jesus songs. And I think most people would have told her to stop that noise, because it was like, there were no chords or anything. It was just, she didn't know anything about playing the guitar, but I liked it, and I encouraged her to, keep working on it.
At 17, I started Teenage Jesus. And I went trying to do my poetry first. I mean, I would stalk Lenny Kaye of the Patti Smith group and force him to hear my poetry. And he's one of the few people at the time that didn't run away from me. And so I picked up the guitar, which I didn't know how to play. Someone gave me a broken one. And I knew that the music I wanted to make, even though I knew who my musical influences were, the Stooges, Lou Reed, especially, Patti Smith to some degree. So since I needed to primal scream, the music then mimicked this urgency. Before I had a band, before I had Teenage Jesus, before I had done any performance in New York, it was my 1-2-week job. I'm very proud I had a job at one point for 2 weeks. And I was working at a bar, lying about my age, stealing food for my friends, Mick DeVille, because we were all starving. I mean, everyone was just ridiculously poor. And what musician wants to work? Forget about it. All their girlfriends were strippers. And, so I would steal food. And one day I was walking down the street in front of CBGB's, and coming at me were Mick DeVille, who lived around there, and I had my little doggy bag of food. And suddenly out of Willie DeVille's mouth, Lydia Lunch. And I didn't take this name, I didn't want it, but in some senses it makes sense. I mean, I am there to feed other people's needs, in a sense. Well, I'm not there to satisfy their needs, but I'm there to articulate them.
We are great, aren't we?
I think that when you adopt nostalgia as the basis for something of which you're going to create from, that just, to me, indicates an intellectual bankruptcy. Okay, so thank you.
Nice to meet
That's
you.
20, and you need
Yeah.
change. Okay, we find
I
some
need,
for you.
yeah,
We find some change.
Minister tell ring it up, and they want your name, so I was looking for you.
Thank you so much.
Let's not have enough money to buy that, but
You don't have
I will
enough money
buy
to
it.
buy this. You don't have enough money to buy this.
No, because but perhaps I will. Oh, thank you. You don't have to, but...
See you at the concert. See you at the concert. I just gave a girl one deviations. I gave one away. So just so you know, okay?
I didn't count these.
I didn't either, so. Thank you, Mama. Thank you, sister. Okay. Excellent. I mean, I own all my own recordings, which is rare for any artist because they've had to barter them out to record companies. So I always have to use someone to distribute, or I distribute through my website, and that's it. And, you know, the donkey cart, as I call it, on the road.
And she never come.
No, that'll have to rescue you from the emergency room. Because I think the terms underground has a connotation meaning connected to something else, I feel outside of everything. I am stubbornly independent.
Bunny! 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 Bunny boy! Come on. Are you hungry, Bunny?
Oh, yeah.
Come, honey. Come on. Come on, hungry Bunny. And only because it's mutual to anything mainstream. They don't want me, I don't want them. It's simple.
Some see this as signs of an exceptional destiny. When your innocence has been murdered, we as women, we carry so much trauma in the body, and the body bears the burden. The body bears the burden. The body bears the burden. Every slight trauma becomes an act of ritual sacrifice. image, in the way that I'm obsessed with my image. Every slight imperfection, a new delicacy. I love my body, love my body, love my body, I love my body. I got the poison out of my body. I got their poison out of my body. They can murder my fucking innocence, but they can't murder me. I got their poison out of it!
Come to my arms, cruel soul thing, little beast. Come to my arms again, for I would plunge my fingers in your mane. Be a long time, unremembering. Bury myself in you, breathe your wild perfume, remorselessly, for one more hour. Breathe again, as of a ruined flower, the fragrance of the love you have defiled. I long to sleep. I think that from a slumber like death, I would awake as I once was, lavish without shame, caress upon your body, glowing in dark. To drown my sorrow, there is no abyss, however deep, that compares with your bed. To drown my sorrow, there is no abyss.
How long did you have this kind of music?
Well, this performance now, I think we've just done 6 or 7 performances, but many months apart in Moscow, in Belfast, in Leipzig, Lausanne, Amsterdam, Paris, yes. So very select, and it has to be the right atmosphere. At Valencia, which was in a chapel, so the projection was on the round chapel wall, which was beautiful, with stained glass above. But it has to be the right atmosphere to perform it in, so, yeah. And I will continue because, I mean, this is what I need to say.
Yes.
The war will go on forever, and I will continue complaining about it forever. In my wheelchair.
I make this subject for an erotic broadcasting, and I want you to talk about the nudity in your art and the use of the body in your art.
Someone breaking bones upstairs. Let's talk about the devastation of the physical form. Should I just begin?
Yeah.
I think how my work differs from a lot of people differs from pornography or erotica in general is, first of all, the goal of pornography is satisfaction for the most part. And the goal of my work is not to satisfy anyone. The reason I chose to superimpose self-portrait, pornographic, if that's how you choose to look at it, images with destruction is because, first of all, we use sex to avoid death. I'm always fighting. We can't fight aging, and actually the older I get, not only the better do I feel, and I think the better do I look, but the more antagonistic I am towards my own decay. I hope I frighten men a little. But why? Because they're frightened of the man in me? I mean, what are they frightened of? Because there's so few images of aggressive, passionate women that refuse to control themselves? I mean, this is the, it's not me, it's that there's not enough of me out there. And I think that when men are frightened of me, they're frightened of my dick. I'm not frightened of, they're frightened of my dick being shoved down their throat.
Start praying, yeah, praying that they turn into some black Bruce Lee flick in slow motion, that those grungy fucking knickers start multiplying in size, yeah. Start turning it into Shaft. They're just mauling the shit out of me. They're just ripping it open, ripping that sweet white chicken meat, that white, tender baby flesh with their greasy fucking meat hooks, right? The stink of vinegar and piss and pus and pussy. Right, and they got me begging, right? They got me begging the way you see it. Begging like I died and went to heaven, right? Begging, please, don't force me into it, yeah!
I just think I was a very brutal teenager. In some ways I've changed a lot, in some ways I haven't changed at all. I mean, my artistic vision is the same. I mean, it's still to talk about things other people would rather not, to admit to where I am in my own history, in my own hysteria, to try to make sense of the political cockocracy, to try to find a way to rebel truly against the campaign of fear the government places upon us.
I'm talking, as usual, about megalomaniacal, power-hungry, egotistical men. Ignorant, incompetent, and elected to the highest offices of the United States of America. A bunch of gung-ho cowboys who are more interested in dominating every aspect of your entire life and death as they jerk off all over the globe, releasing their sexual frustrations by butt-fucking whoever gets in the way of their war games, head trips, or death trips.
But somebody maybe a feminist, activist like you?
Well, I don't consider myself a feminist. I consider myself a humanist and an activist, yes, but I don't agree to the term feminist because it's too generic. So. Okay, good. All right.
By now you must know that I'm Lydia Lunch, and you know a few things about me, like my language is not silence. My song is the scream. Terror dwells in the shadow of my wings. My hope is my first battle and my last gasp. I am the knife with which the dead crack open the casket.
I know that in the past, I would have been burnt at the stake like the rest of you witches. Like one of just 9 million more menstrual murders of the Middle Ages. I know that in the past, I would have been burnt at the stake. Now all I can think of is 9 million menstruating murderesses marching to the White House, the House of Commons, the Parliament, 10 Downing Street, Pennsylvania Avenue. Turn the fear around.
No, I don't believe in American politics. That's why I'm a resident of Spain.
Where were you in September 11?
In Los Angeles. I have to say I was a bit overjoyed. Not for the loss of innocent lives, if there's innocent lives working in a huge financial center like that, which of course there is. America needs to feel how every other country feels by its campaign of terror and genocide. So I wasn't rejoicing people's death. And I'm not sure that America didn't play a large part in that. And if they at least they knew it was coming. And they could have prevented it. So I think America needed to find out what it feels like for the rest of the world. Let's see if there's a drink out there, please. I knew eventually I had to divorce myself from a city that offered up an endless influx of temporary distractions served up like junk food because New York is full of junk culture. I had to detox myself from the convulsive miasma of mindless activity whose goal may indeed be to overstimulate, but whose resultant conclusion merely configures delusions of a grandeur that forever remains elusive. The first few years spent in New York were a blur of alcohol, sex, and drugs. I'd moved from crash pad to squat to storefront to a series of cheap apartments and tenements. Chelsea, Tribeca, East 2nd, 3rd and 4th Streets, Delancey, East 12th, in 3 different apartments in the same building. Spanish Harlem, Murray Hill, Brooklyn, running up overdue bills, disappearing in the middle of the night, usually on a whim, invited to sleep on somebody's couch, take over their spare room, or share their bed. It was easy to bum around. Occupancy rates were down, rent control was still in effect, and people were just more generous, less suspicious.
Mes premières années à New York étaient un mélange confus d'alcool, de sexe et de drogue.
The title itself, Paradoxia, comes from Kraft Dabbing, and it's about having a sexual excitement where really you shouldn't. And it wasn't about the act of sex as much as it was about anonymous conquest, having the power to say, you now go, do it, and then you disappear. So in other words, to treat men as they often treat women, in the worst possible way.
J'adorais le pouvoir que me procurait ma chatte. La façon dont les hommes étaient attirés par ces mystères comme des chercheurs d'or en territoire étranger.
I still think that there needs to be a female voice talking about these things, talking about predation, where in the past I had gained power from sexual exploits. I had already turned that around so that I was gaining more power from not having sexual exploits. Decided it was time to just cut to the chase, eliminate the middleman, cultivated a few regulars from the bars who could afford to pay me by the hour what I'd usually pull in a day or two. My overhead was incredibly low since I rarely paid rent, but I still needed cash. And tricking could accumulate the most money while exerting the least effort. I thought it was an invaluable service, filling a small pocket of a lonely man's life with momentary joy, flooding the dark night of their psyche with my light, my youth, my pussy, a place where they came to worship, which offered up relief from a petty existence frustrated by work, wife, kids, responsibility.
I don't hate men, because then at least they know their place, which they always think is up my asshole, digging for gold.
I love Ciarán. I mean, he's one of my all-time favorite writers. I mean, just the humor, the tragedy. I love books that are aphorisms, that are small essays, that are paragraphs, that are thoughts. I just get such joy out of it. I mean, the temptation to exist. Need we say more? The trouble with being born. A short history of decay. The titles themselves bring me joy. And I've used a lot of his, he's not only influenced me, but I've used some of his key phrases when speaking about war. Cruelty and hatred would be embraced, revered, reviled, feared. A classic nihilist philosophy, the only dogma, that which does not kill me, makes me so fucking strong. Thank you. Paradoxia, A Predator's Diary, soon not to be a major motion picture, although I don't fucking know why. We have some things to sell, this included. I have a new double CD retrospective that has music from Teenage Jesus forward called Deviations on a Theme. It has spoken word clips between every song, a lot of stuff you might have heard, a lot you might not have. DVDs and everything else, so get your wallets out, or your dicks, whatever comes first.
À noter le recueil de poésie avec des poèmes de Lydia en bilingue, c'est tout l'intérêt. Mais aussi d'autres personnes, c'est toi qui en as fait le choix. Tu peux nous dire 2 mots sur ce recueil de poésie quand même.
Oui,
un bel objet.
J'essaie d'être simple. Ça venait d'un désir de rendre quelque chose à des poètes qui m'avaient apporté des émotions, et plus que des émotions, un état d'esprit, une manière de vivre et de vivre dans ce monde et de quelque part de lutter avec ou contre lui, je ne sais pas trop. J'ai eu énormément d'émotions à constater qu'on m'avait fait confiance et que des gens aussi divers comme Michel Bulto, F.J. Ossan, Lydia, Richarel m'avaient envoyé leurs textes et d'autres gens beaucoup moins connus. C'est une anthologie où vous trouverez des textes français, donc américains, et un auteur sicilien qui n'avait jamais publié et qui est mort avant de recevoir, hélas, ses exemplaires d'auteur, Giovanni Fronte.
Super. Merci. Merci Thierry.
Any questions? Or answers?
Ouais. Allez-y, c'est le moment.
Do you just want to stare at me for a few more minutes? That's okay too. I'll just sit here.
Can I get an autograph on my double CD?
Ah, please, of course.
My name is Pascal.
Of course.
I speak very well.
We met before, like
Yes,
10
yes,
years
I
ago when
remember
the
you.
book actually
Yeah.
came out here.
What's your name again?
Well, Michel Larue
Yes.
and Aka Galafur.
Yeah, okay.
I'm a dominatrix.
Yeah. I remember you, so.
Still.
Yeah, good, fantastic. Somebody has to take this city into their hands. Well, please check out the exhibit. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Fantastic.
Yeah, the weekend. You're leaving tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm
Back
sorry.
to New York.
No, I live in Barcelona.
Oh, you live in Barcelona?
Yeah.
Oh, so much better.
Oh, yeah. No, I haven't lived in New York since 1990. Lived in many cities. It's, no. It's horrible there now.
No, I left New York in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, but enough.
Barcelona's wonderful. It's fantastic. Okay, enjoy. Hello. Hello. This is not a very good pen for signing this thing. Patrice, may I have the other pen, the fat one?
I'm working on a music project now. I compose and sing and play a lot of instruments.
Oh, fantastic.
And I wrote a song for you.
You did?
Yeah, in my project. It's a conceptual artwork.
To what?
Conceptual. 3 albums, it's
Yes.
a story. And so there is the sum up of this and the lyrics of the song.
Oh, thank you, and your information.
I left you my email address if you want to hear the song.
Perfect.
It would be a pleasure for me.
Thank you very much. Okay, your name is Virginia, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Keep producing. Okay, I'll put this in my bag. Hello.
It is a pity not the original one.
Ah, well.
Because I could be very interested how it was written.
Ah, yes. Don't be shy. I know you're not. All right, what have you got?
My boyfriend.
Okay. Which one?
Fink. Can I have a bit of your time one more for my sister, of course?
Yeah.
She's got a complex.
Oh, yeah.
Marie-Claire.
She what?
Marie-Claire, her name.
Marie-Claire.
Mary
Claire.
Yeah.
M-A-R-I-E?
Yes.
Je suis pas du tout fan d'armes.
Accessory subversion.
I'm ready for my close-up. First Sunset Boulevard. Now, if only a man was drowning in my backyard. Literature was the most important thing to me first, and it was Hubert Selby and Henry Miller and the Marquis de Sade. I don't know how I first got a hold of Last Exit to Brooklyn. A used bookstore, I don't know why. No one recommended Hubert Selby to me. This book fell into my hands before even music influenced me, literature did, to escape.
Pleasure is the only real rebellion, especially for women, because it's the first thing they steal from us. Pleasure. I will take my pleasure. I must find ecstasy in their insanity. I must find ecstasy in their insanity. I must find the truth in their lies. I must find beauty in their death. I must find peace in their war. Pleasure in their pain. Ecstasy. I must find ecstasy in their insanity. I must find the truth in their lies. Peace in their war. Pleasure in their pain. Beauty in their destruction. I must find life in their genocide. Yeah. My church. Rebellion. Welcome to my church. I must find ecstasy. I must find ecstasy. I must find ecstasy. And their fucking insanity. I have to find the truth in their lies. I have to find beauty in their death. Ecstasy in the mouth of the apocalypse. Ecstasy at the mouth of the abyss. Thank you for coming out. Dave Knight, Ian White.
Not go in a fun time or
Fun time?
Yeah, it's not fun.
It's not supposed to be.
Yeah, I know that.
Why should it be? Why should I give you fun? I should give you fun?
No, it's not fun. It's not fun. I want to say.
You don't think I'm having fun? I'm having a lot of fucking fun.
Yeah, but
because I'm speaking for a lot of people. I don't need to make it fun. That's not my fucking job, fun. Go buy any other CD, any other artist can give you fun, not me. I'm not here for your fucking fun.
No, it's not fun.
Wrong concert. Huh. Wrong performer.
not about fun. I don't give a shit about fun, yours or anyone else's. I have fun, but not there.
No, but
to have fun is to avoid reality. I do that in my private time, not in my public time. This is ridiculous. This is not entertainment, my friend.
No, it's not.
It's vomiting. Our ills.
And we must learn how to scream and to kick into the void, to remember and to never forget, to remember and to never forget that we have a voice and that it will be heard. We must turn the tide. To escape the perimeter of this fleshy prison, to escape into milky nimbus, blurry-eyed, lightheaded, to erase dreams, memory, visions, to ultimately forget every word, every face, every nightmare, a permanent amnesia which foregoes responsibility, the enemy of freedom. But I can't forget. I remember too much. I remember every detail, every nuance. I'm forced to repeat even the most ridiculous